West Virginia mountain melody. There's a new river singing to me. All this time it's wild and free. Your West Virginia mountain melodies.
Welcome to another on-the-road episode of Around and About the Clarksburg History Museum, and I'm your host, Martha Jett. Today we're outside of Bridgeport at the Maplewood Health Care Center, and we're going to talk to a resident of Maplewood, and that is Tom Maditz.
Right.
Am I pronouncing that right, Tom? And thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Tom, where were you born?
Mount Clare.
Were you born on a farm?
Yeah.
What did your parents do?
Well, my mother was just a housewife, but my dad was a coal miner.
What mines did he work in?
All these small ones around the area, like Despard, and they was just small mines then. He worked in most of them for 50 years.
What was his name, Tom?
John
Maditz?
I think his middle name was Henry. John Henry Maditz.
Did you have brothers and sisters?
Oh, yeah, I had 11 brothers.
11?
No sisters.
Oh, my. So y'all worked on the farm?
Yeah. 6 and 7, 8 of us at a time growing up. We took and never had this modern equipment like they do today, because I don't think they could do it. We spaded up a garden probably twice this size. We'd start early so we could plant it, because that's what we ate. That's how we ate. And it was, like I say, there was 6 or 7 of us all the time. So, it takes you time, but still yet you can get it done.
You work with horses?
Yeah, I had a mule.
Mule, okay.
Well, I had a mule and a milk cow.
And I bet everything that you ate came off the farm.
Yep. Grazed chickens, but killed them, rabbits, hogs.
Did your dad put up haystacks?
No, I did though. He was always working mines, a lot of hours in the mines.
I had someone at the History Museum ask me, how was a haystack made? What did you do to make a haystack?
You just
Can
start,
you describe that?
You start at the bottom and you just kind of bring it up to where it's almost nothing.
You have like a pole in the center.
Yeah. Plus you had to watch, because snakes get in there a lot of times. When you keep tacking, maybe next day you go back to finish one, and when you're got your pitchfork putting that hay up there, the snake will stick his head out there at you. So yeah,
did you have milk cows?
2.
And I bet you made your own butter.
Yeah,
and all that.
made all churn that butter.
Mom can?
All constantly. What we growed in the garden was canned. We picked blackberries, raspberries. She made jams plus cobblers, things like that. That's what we lived on.
Did you have like a wood stove to cook on?
Yeah, we did it first.
Now here's a question someone asked me too, and I didn't know how to answer this. When you baked in a wood stove, how did you know what temperature it was?
You just keep watching it.
Just knew by the look of it.
Well, I probably should say elderly people. They would, I don't even know if they had toothpicks then, but they would take something small and stick down in the center. And if it came out pretty clean, then it was done.
Where did you go to school?
Started out at Custer School. You know where that is?
Now I've heard of it. Tell me where was it at?
That's on the road to Mount Clare.
Okay.
And somehow Monticello, you know where you hear that one?
Yes.
Somehow now my brothers went there, but I bypassed that one for some reason. I don't know what the reason was, so I ended up town at the Towers, Junior Towers and Junior High, or Central Junior High was there.
Okay.
So I went to Towers, and then I went to Central Junior High. then I become a hilltopper when I went to high school.
Went to WI then.
Yeah.
What was can you remember some of your teachers there at Towers?
Not, that's a long time
How
back.
about WI?
Well, I know Columbo, that's his relative that's a lawyer. His name was Frank Columbo. There was I never knew his first name. We called him Mr. Carter. He was like a science teacher. And that was at WI.
I bet you had good memories of WI, and that school's closing.
Oh, yeah,
which
we
is
had,
sad to hear.
I don't think she was married either, Miss Marple. She was the principal at Custer School. And
what year did you graduate, Tom?
20, oh no, I'm going, let me think, 58.
58, okay.
1958. Telling you my age now, and
I was trying to sneak that in.
everybody thinks I'm 60.
You look it.
Well,
You look
thank you.
great. Yeah, you're going to have to come in. You've been to our museum before.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to have to come back in, and I think we have a 58 yearbook there
Do you?
at WI.
I think I've been there twice, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't
great.
remember seeing you the first time.
Well, I just started in March.
Well, it was probably before that, the first time.
What were you in sports there at WI? Did you?
Basketball. Now that's funny. I'd like to play basketball in all the schools, but I don't like to watch it.
What did you play? What position?
Any of them.
Okay. Who was your coach?
What the shoot was his name?
WI always had a good sports team.
Yeah, I forget what his name was.
So when you left high school, what was your first job?
Well, let me think on that, because I was 15. I started working part-time at then was called QB Bakery over on Jackson Avenue. You know where that is?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Well, then they later on, I was still going to school, and you didn't need these work permits and stuff. And then I ended up at Wilson Bakery.
And what did you do at the first bakery? What did you do?
Just mostly work back by the oven. What they called them days, didn't have this modern equipment, rack bread. Guys would dump it out of the pan, take it out of the oven and dump it on this big table, and you pick it up and put it on the rack.
And that was your job?
It was my job.
So then you left there, and then where did you go?
Wilson Bakery. Somebody over there called over to QB and said, "You have anybody over there working part-time?" I said, "Yeah." Then I was old enough to go. So I went over there, and I worked there 20 years before it shut down.
Now, where were they located?
Glen Elk. You know where the old Clarksburg Casting Company is?
Yes.
Building right up behind it.
So you started off at Wilson doing what?
QB.
At QB, but at Wilson, what did you do?
Same thing. Started out working by the oven, doing the same thing about racking bread. Then sort of graduated up to, well, what they called it, I don't know, but it's like you would roll bread out. They called it molder. So when the guy over here, the machine cuts the bread, and it's all different today. It would take you like 16 ounces or whatever the weight you wanted the bread. That's how you set that machine they called the divider. And it'd drop out 6 loaves at a time. And then it goes up this belt. It rounds it out.
Like an assembly line.
Yeah. And then it goes into what a thing is called, you got fingers over here. They keep going around and picking them balls of dough up and putting them in this, what they call overhead proofer. It's got big long pockets about that long, and 3 of them would be in each one because it never stops turning that machine. And then it goes all the way around. This takes a few minutes. I think it had like 4 rows. And it goes like it's probably at least from here to the door.
Gosh, how many loaves a day would that kick out?
Oh, we worked 9, 10 hours a day,
Wow.
nonstop. Less than we changed different kind of bread, like from white bread to rye or Italian. Well, we call it French there and it would just go back and forwards till it come down to where it was set up for the drop out of that overhead proofer, they called it, into that molder machine. It'd come out and then it flattened it all out, just like you would with a rolling pin. So then it goes down and you have a thing, well, down here and all this, it's like a little stop, so that when that goes through them rollers, then it hits that and it comes on down, and then it rolls it back up and it drops it in the bread pan.
And then you bake it.
Then it goes in the steam box to raise.
Oh, okay.
And then you pull it out the other side and put it in the oven.
Now, what did you do? What were the various jobs you did there while you were
Everything. I did that, and then anytime the guy was off that run the divider part, I told you, they would send me over to do that.
Can you name some of the gentlemen you worked with there?
Oh, George Tangerman, Rex, what is his name? Jim Rexrow, Abe and Alex Maslowski, they was the bosses.
Okay.
George Alcatree, John Hall.
Was that considered a hard job or an easy job? I'm sure it was probably hard.
It was hard. That part of it, all through that, wasn't too bad, till they wanted me to go up and mix the doughs.
And why is that?
Well, you had to dump 100-pound bags of flour.
Oh, so you were lifting all that flour.
Nowadays, everything's metered in. You have liquid sugar, shortening, flours in big tanks. We did graduate up, and they put 2, I think it was 50,000 pound, 2 tanks they had put in. So the tanker truck would come just like a gasoline truck and fill those tanks. And then all you do was set your scale, because we mixed 500 pound of flour at a time, and that's what you set your scale at. And then when it filled the hopper, then it would kick off. And so then you add your yeast and your sugar and all the good stuff, that goes in bread.
That's amazing to think, though, that just that one plant there, look how much they put out every day of bread. Oh,
yeah. I forget the amount of bread. But
was Wilson Bakery its own bakery brand?
Yeah.
Or did they go under a different name when they put the bread out on the shelf?
No, it was still Wilson's bread.
Okay.
And it was, I can't think. I'm not sure. I think John Wilson, he had it when I started there. I think his dad was named Frank Wilson. So he passed on, and John Wilson took it over, and he ran it. And, well, he had a son. He worked there. He worked in the office. And they was trying to get, them and Sanitary Bakery, QB, was in together. So anything they ordered, like yeast and stuff like that, both of them would order the amount, and you get it cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
But QB, the first one went out, so that left John to try to get a loan to pay off, what do you call that, the interest, or not the interest, but shoot, it's like people that own stock in the place.
Okay. The stockholders.
So, Sanitary went down. That's what it was called at last, Sanitary Bakery. they owned all kind of money to people. Spellsburg's had it.
Did you ever get sick of bread?
No.
Since you made it all the time.
Because I ended up at Caterings after Wilson's closed. And
when did Wilson's close? Do you remember what year that was?
1974.
And then you went to Kettering?
Yeah, I had my day off and started the next day.
Where was Kettering at?
On Morgantown Avenue in Fairmont.
And how long were you there?
10 years, and then they closed.
Oh my. So then what happened after they closed?
Well, let's see, where did I go? I always had a job. This kind of falls in. I know I worked at Eagle Convex Glass Company.
Oh, now tell me about that.
Well, when I was hired there, what they call set up and drill. If you ever noticed your stove fronts where the knobs was, well, that's what I did. I set up those to drill. It was glass in. Drill those holes in that glass. And Tappan was the worst one because they had 14 quarter-inch holes you had to drill. And some stations, they had it was 2 heads on each drill. You had 3 drills stations. Some of them you could only drill 1. Some of them you drill 2. And then maybe you go back down to 1. Then the person behind you would pick up 2 or 3 or 4 holes to drill till you got the end of the line and finally ended up with the 14 holes in it. Tappan was the worst.
What years were this? Do you remember what year this was that you started at Eagle? And then maybe tell the listeners where Eagle Glass was located.
Tuna Street.
Tuna Street in Clarksburg.
Well, it's there now, but it's under a different name. It was Eurotech, but I think some people from Switzerland has it now, but I forget what they called it.
Now, did you progress up to another job after doing that, drilling?
No, that was it. That's what I was. I started there and ended up there till they shut the place down. And just started out on the drill line, they called it.
Do you remember some of the folks you worked with there?
Yeah, Rodney Bates was one. Manuel Gizzi was a boss. David Pumphrey, he was the supervisor down there. And John Hall was a fellow who worked there. My brother Dan worked there. My brother Ed worked there. Two of my uncles, one was named Jimmy Steffage. That was from my mother's side. And the other one was Joe Steffage. And I had a sister-in-law worked there. Her first name was Oliva. And she had a sister worked there for a while. Thelma was her first name.
You know, Tom, it's amazing, and I don't think the younger folks realize how many glass factories were just in Clarksburg.
Oh, yeah.
And how many families all worked in that same glass factory.
Right.
Like you're saying right there at Eagle.
They used to hire a lot of family, you know. But now they don't do that so much anymore. These places don't, because if something happens, and maybe all of you have to take off.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they, there was me, my brother Dan, my brother Ed.
What did they all do there at Eagle?
Well, my brother Dan always run the furnace after you get done downstairs with the glass, then it goes upstairs and he more or less bakes it in the furnace. Make sure the paint's dry and all that on it.
What was Eagle Glass known for their specialty to make? What type of glass? Well,
just a lot of it, like I say, was stove fronts. But now, I don't really know what, my wife worked there too. And In decorating, they called it.
That's painting.
Yeah, painting the glass and so forth.
Was that mostly what they would hire the women for at that time?
Yeah,
Was to do the painting?
most of the women worked in the decorating department.
How many people did they employ?
One time there was 300 and some. I don't know the exact number, but there was 300 and some.
All good jobs, good paying jobs to make a
Oh,
living.
yeah, because really, by me being, she used to get after me for this, my wife did, because I was set up and drill person. I made more money on the air because she started way before I ever started down there because I had jobs. And what she says, I don't understand how you make more money and you ain't been there very long. But it's a classification of the job.
Right, right. And let's be honest, they didn't pay women back then like
right,
they did
like
men.
they do today. But they, oh yeah, I had that job, and like I say, they kept laying off so much. So I went to work at it was an old Exxon station. George Keller had it.
Where was that?
It was, you know where Hardee's and CVS is on George Street?
Yes.
Where CVS is, the old Exxon set there.
Okay.
And I was over there getting gas one day, and my brother worked there because he just lived around the corner, and he retired, brother Leon, retired from the coal mines. And that was convenient for him just to go over there and make some extra money. And so I was over there getting gas one day, and I could hear George. He asked him, he says, your brother need a job? He said, go ask him yourself and see if he wants to go to work here. So I worked there a while.
What'd you do there?
Just pump gas.
When, okay, younger viewer, or younger listeners, this is when people would come out and pump your gas.
Yeah, full service, they call it.
Check your oil.
Yeah, check the oil and air in their tires, and had.
How much did gas cost when you were pumping gas, Tom?
It was like maybe I'm going to say $1.50 or something. And but I was put on the service van. Go start cars, change flat tires, made good money in tips.
Oh, I bet.
Plus, a lot of the women would feed me.
Oh, well, that's a perk.
Yeah, they just say, I just brought out a couple apple pies. You like a piece? I said, I don't think I'm supposed to do that. She says, I know George for years. She said, come on in here while you're doing the paperwork, because they'd blown to 3 A's. And they'd get me a cup of coffee and a piece of apple pie.
My goodness, that's a good tip.
Yeah.
So how long did you work there?
Just probably a year. Then that's when I was called to Eagle Convex Glass to do what I was telling you.
Now, I ask almost everyone I interview this. Walk me down the streets of Clarksburg when you were a young man. Tell me some of the stores you remember.
You want me to start at West End?
Wherever you want.
Okay, I can. Well, if just say you're coming into town, White Electric was there. The building's still there, but they sold paint and stuff like that. And there was a guy down in the bottom would work on electric motors and stuff. And then you, well, with your gas station, I don't even know if they're there now or not. But you come on over and cross the bridge there, and over here on the right, you had the Canteen Restaurant. You ever hear of that one?
Oh, yes. I ate in there before.
It was good food.
Really good food.
Blake's had that. Guy named
good
Blake.
Giovanni's there.
Yeah, all best. Best around. Then that big building was Remington Tar Company, where they recap tars and all that good stuff. And then
was West End Feed there somewhere?
Who?
West End Feed store. Wasn't it somewhere around in there?
I think it was right close to that tar place. And you come on over there, Rokiski's had that gas station there, because I know Joe and Bob, and I think I think maybe Kroger's was there, right up from there. But I think they closed it since then.
Yeah, it's closed now.
Then over here you had all those buildings from them. And then you had the Redhead gas station. Was over here on the left coming into town. And if you fill your car up, they give dishes away then. Then actually McDonald's is over here now. And you still got Heartland Planing Mill. And the old cemetery is still up there top of the hill. And where the Go Mart is, across there, you had United Hospital. Not United.
St. Mary's.
St. Mary. Well, that was on Washington Avenue.
Oh, okay.
Union Protestant.
Okay.
Then it changed to United Hospital Center when they joined. Then they built the old one on Davidson Run. Now they're in the new one. And all up through there, you had the gas stations nationally in town. And senior citizen centers there now, but then across there you got the fire station.
What were some of the stores you shopped in? Did you go uptown to
Oh,
shop?
yeah. I got run out of the pool hall a few times because I wasn't of age. When I went to WI, we'd watch for the policeman.
What pool hall was that?
Strand.
Okay. On Pike Street?
Yeah. And I went to, remember Freelanders?
Yes.
I didn't shop in there, but then you had Woolsworth, Grant's, Murphy's.
Do you remember the arcade?
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. That's how we come down from WI. We come down through that penny arcade, they called it. Nice place. They had a Hagen ice cream store was in there. Wonderful ice cream. And I always thought they would build that back, but they tore it down because they had that big fire in there.
Yeah, just burned it out.
Then you had Anderson's Restaurant right there. That's the courthouse. And
did you ever eat at Sanitary Hot Dog?
oh, that's where we went all the time.
I just wish I could remember eating there. I don't. And I hear everyone say what great hot dogs
where the
they
big Huntington Bank is, the restaurant was right across on the other corner. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 25 cents for a hamburger. I forget what the price of the hot dog was. I always got hamburgers. And it was good food, yeah.
How about the movie theaters? Did you go see movies?
Oh, yeah. I went to Robinson Grand, Ritz, Opera, Orpheum Theater. I think that's how you say it. Moore's Opera House.
What did you like to go see? Cowboy pictures?
Mostly cowboys.
Good times, huh?
Oh, yeah, they was. And then, like I say, there's just so many. Had Montgomery Ward up there. Sears and Roebuck. Pennies. Did you know that Montgomery Ward, there was two different guys? So when the one got out of it, that left Ward. So that's how it ended up just being Ward.
Oh, okay.
The same thing with Sears and Roebuck. That was two different guys that owned it. But Sears, when Roebuck got out of it, Sears still had it. That's why how it ended up with Sears. Sears and Ward was brothers.
Sears was located on the corner, what was it, across from like where the Presbyterian Church is?
Yeah.
They sold a little bit of everything in there because I remember my mom and dad got their coal furnace from Sears.
Oh, yeah.
They sold a little bit of everything in Sears. You had Parsons Souders, Palace Furniture.
Oh, yeah. Parsons Souders had a good restaurant down in the basement.
The Submarine.
I had a sister-in-law who worked there. And Gummy Ward's was up there, Sears, Pennies. Then they all went to the mall.
And then you had A&P, grocery
two
store?
two of them. One was at there's nothing there now. Was down by the Catholic Church, where there's just a big parking lot
Yeah,
now.
they tore that building all out.
E&P was in there. Maidenform was in there, and I don't know what else. Oh, there was a barber in there, Graninetti. He was a barber. He was in one section of it. And something else, because I had to go in there one time for something, but always shopped in the A&P.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful pumpkin pies they had.
Mm-hmm. And great
then,
coffee.
Yeah. We had two of them. I think the other one was down West End.
Now, where did you live at when you were working at Eagle and all that? Where did you live?
Up at Mount Clare.
At Mount Clare?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that where the Hutchison Coal Company was, up in that area?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That was a big coal operation,
Oh,
wasn't it?
yeah, back then, yeah.
So, where did you retire from? What was your last job?
I didn't have enough pennies or time to do it, but I retired because of my age from pennies.
Oh, what'd you do there?
Well, I ended up being the supervisor in maintenance. That's what I was at Ward's too. And that lady was the guy was supervisor for me. The lady that was personnel manager, we got to know each other. Loretta Lynn was her name. And she was after me to come to work for her. But I had a good job at Ward's. And after they closed, she says, I guess you want to come to work for me now. I said, yeah, I need a job. She says, well, you come put an application in. But I didn't have to wait because I was still at home in Broadway then with my wife. And I was just finishing up installing the shower in my house. And she says, this only happened within a week. And I heard my wife talking to her. And she says, where's he at? I said, oh, he's finishing up installing the shower. I said, you need to talk to him? I said, no, just tell him come to work tomorrow.
So just as easy as that, you started working there. And that's where you finished out your working career.
I worked there a year. Now, the manager at the store was Mr. Clarke. He didn't want me to leave. He tried everything he could. I said, nah, my family wants, and I was 62, and I worked 47 years. I think that's enough for anybody.
Yeah, it's time to relax and enjoy life a little bit.
But the rest of that story was, I never told anybody who my family and friends knew I retired. So Country Club Chrysler, you know where that is, right? Well, Ball Macuso owned it then. And I had some good friends who worked out there because most of my life I drove Chrysler products. And my says, are you going to tell Randy? I was a salesman out there. We was just friends. I lived beside of his relatives. And I said, no, I'm not telling anybody. I want to enjoy retirement a little bit. So they found out somehow, and they called me. Said, we need you to come out here. I said, for what? I said, I'm retired. He said, we need you to start making dealer trades for us. I said, I just retired. I said, I don't know nothing about that. My life's always been in either I made bread or I worked in maintenance. Said, no, it's nothing to it. So I went out and I started with them going here and there for them. I never had no trouble. I mean, it was easy to learn. You just go in and take the paperwork and the guy signs it and you pick up take the car that you took and trade it for another one because somebody wants a red car instead of a blue one and so forth, you know. And I'd come back. They bought my lunch and everything like that, paid me good. And they said, you know, the guy's going to leave a service van. So I said, yeah, Buzzy. I said, yeah, I know Buzzy. And said, you want that job a couple days a week? Now, I thought that's all I was going to work. I said, yeah, that'd just give me something to do 2 days a week, you know. And next thing you know, I was making dealer trades. That made it 3 days a week. Then they asked me if I'd want to go to Butler, PA. You know where that is?
Yes.
To the auction with the guy, the sales manager. I said, yeah, I mean, that's only on Tuesday. Well, that was on every Tuesday. So I was up to 4 days a week.
So you were getting roped into a full-time
week. So the other day I would go to another dealer trade someplace. Me and somebody, if we was just going to pick a car up, but a lot of times I would just take a vehicle and bring one back. And most of the time my wife went with me. Like I say, they paid me good, bought my lunch and stuff like that. If I had to stay all night, went to almost North Carolina one time. Guy says, you want to go down there and back in one day? I said, you crazy? So they paid for the motel and bought my dinners, breakfast, and all that good stuff. But I said, if I knew I was going to do this, I would have just kept my regular job.
Oh,
it was easy.
Right. You worked harder in retirement.
Yeah. But
I have to ask you, you said you always liked Chrysler cars. Was the first car you ever had was a Chrysler?
47 Plymouth.
Remember what you paid for it?
I think it was $700.
Wow.
And I saved this money from what you get a little allowance from school when your parents could afford it. And then cause I had to catch a school bus. And then as I got working part-time, I was, naturally saving more money. And then I had a brother, he was a Peck Auto Company. I don't know if you ever heard it or not.
No. Where was it at?
It was, how can I explain this? There's a drive-through bank there. I don't think it's where the water fountain is.
Oh, where the water fountain used to be.
Yeah.
I think the post office is there now.
Oh, okay. They built the new one. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
But you come straight across there, and I guess that would be Washington Avenue.
I think so.
Let's see, what would that be? 2nd Street? 1st Street?
That's 2nd Street.
2nd Street. The end of 2nd Street that ties into Washington Avenue. Big building set right there.
Okay.
Peck Auto Company.
That's where you bought your first car.
First car, and my brother Bill was a mechanic there. So I guess a little persuading from him. That's why I ended up with Chrysler cars all the time.
So was Country Club Chrysler the last place you worked?
Yeah.
And so now you're officially retired.
Yeah, and I didn't want to end up here, but you never know what your life's going to bring,
Well, I had a lovely day here today, meeting the residents and doing a little presentation for them and meeting you. I'm going to have to wrap this up.
Oh, that's
I've enjoyed talking to you, Tom. Thank you for sharing your memories and everything. And I hope you come back to the museum.
Oh, I will.
We'd love to have you come back.
If you want to ever interview me some more, come back sometime.
I'd love to. And bring a friend. Bring someone that's never been there before.
Yeah.
We're located on Main Street.
I know.
If folks don't know.
If you want to interview me here some more sometime, because I can tell you about some more places.
Okay.
Working Man Store.
We'll make a part 2.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to unfortunately wrap this up
today,
but
fine.
I will be back.
Okay.
And I do a closing on every podcast. I say to remember to make each day count. You are making history today. So Tom Maditz, thank you for coming today. And this is Martha Jett. And you all have a good day.
Sure. It's nice talking to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
West Virginia mountain melody, there's a new river singing to me. Oh, this time it's wild and free, your West Virginia mountain